Hi, I'm Jack, the Airstream Carpenter. Today's June 8th, 2021. Today we're doing a little bit of work on the lighting system. The exterior lighting system, getting this Airstream travel trailer ready to go back on the highway after many years in repair yards. And one of the things we're working on today is marker lights. These marker lights, unfortunately, have been filled with water and the terminals are corroded. The ground, which was this little strap which goes off to the side, this was your negative DC, negative 12 volts DC, and there was a rivet here that goes to the inside, and that depended upon an aluminum rivet grounding to the aluminum shell, which took your 12 volts back to a spot somewhere in the trailer where a large white wire coming back from the truck umbilical brings your ground in. And if some of those places get wet and disintegrated, they don't ground very well. It's a very common problem with marker lights on aluminum skin trailers. Any kind of a camper or travel trailer has the same kind of an issue because of the way they did it. They have one wire, which is your green wire for running lights. In this instance, as today's convention, and that feeds the positive, and then you depend upon the shell for the aluminum. It works well in motor vehicles where everything is made of steel, but here we have a problem. A little bit of moisture causes galvanic corrosion. Look up the galvanic scale of metals on your in your science book, and you'll see that you have things like brass, copper, the steels, the stainless steels, and then here you have the aluminum. And the further apart the metals are on the chart, the worse the corrosion will be if there is any moisture and electricity present. That's what happens. So what we're doing to combat this, we're going to replace this light. Unfortunately, I can't get any 1967 style replacements today, so we're just going to use something common. But they still use the style where there is a ground by one of the mounting screws. So what I'm going to do is use a 3/4 inch stainless steel screw, and I use a compound called Noalox, Noalox. It's used by electricians to help prevent corrosion when they connect an aluminum wire or a copper wire in an aluminum socket in the exterior. But you can find it at an electrical supply place, or possibly even online or something like that. So I bought a small 4-ounce tube, but it probably lasts me left over long after I'm gone, because you only use a little tiny smidgen. You put it underneath the screw head, or you work it into the wire with your fingers when you make a connection. So I'm putting it in my connections. Then on the inside of the shell, so we'll have a stainless steel screw on the grounding strap going all the way through the camper. And because of the way that I've done the work inside, I've redone my shell, and I have a way to get an access hole. Now, the common thing that Airstream could have done, or any other camper could have done at the factory, was mark the location of the light on the interior and put in a cute little cover panel and just said, hey, if you ever need to work on the lights or the wiring, there it is. Well, as you know, if you've watched my other video, I have made actually little wiring areas, and the way I've redone my panels, I can take the screws out of one panel and the panel next to it and slide the piece out sideways. So if I need to work on the wiring, I didn't even have to have an access panel. I think I'm going to fool around and make these little pencil marks go away. But I know where the access panels will be, and I don't believe I'm going to have a lot of problems. The perfectionist may note that I have chosen to bond with electrical wire fasteners, which is uncommon in a a motor vehicle. And at some point, once everything is set, we'll go ahead and change those out to a crimp connector. So on the inside of the aluminum, I've polished the steel, and I've put on a stainless steel washer, and then I've put my terminal in, and then a nut is on there. So we're getting a ground both to the aluminum and to the all the way from the fastening screw all the way back out here. And this white wire is carried through my wiring harness down to my wiring terminal box and back out to the truck umbilical. So we have a complete electrical circuit, whether or not it chooses to go through the aluminum. But if you look at ways of minimizing the electrolysis issue, you'll find out that one of the things that you can do is use the smallest possible connection and use two metals that are as close as possible on your galvanic chart. As you're stepping back from copper to aluminum, it's important to use two principles that most people use. One is you isolate with a stainless steel in the process of going from aluminum to copper. And the other is you put it in a very dry location where there's no water or moisture expected. And the third thing that we do is we use the Noalox compound. This right here is what we used, and those three things will help you have a long-standing system. And then I've chosen to use these crimp connectors that I bought. They're just plain simple connectors that you get. Some people like to use marine connectors. Some people like to use the ones where they have the heat shrink on the outside. When you're making a junction, instead of a plastic, they'll get a heat shrink. And they also have a style that has a heat shrink sleeve on it that are used DOT for travel trailers. So we have quite a few options available. It is the 21st century. We don't have to stick with 1959 or 1969 style of installations. We can get it up a little bit higher. And so, got my new sunglasses installed. The front of the trailer is looking a little bit modernized, but it looks very pleasing and well maintained to the eye. That's the appearance that I'm attempting to achieve. And we'll get some good lighting going on. I tested the LED trailer lights the other night. They work fine, my stop turns and everything. So we get the marker lights going, and we're heading for the state inspection station. Alright, y'all have a good day, and there's your lesson for electrical systems for the day. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. You never know what you're going to find on this channel.